Hello friends, we are heading to Barbaresco, and today we're going to visit Ca del Baio, which is a beautiful family-owned winery.
Ca del Baio was one of the first wineries we selected for our wine club. And I remember the first time I went to their winery to, present our project. As you might imagine, it's not easy to come from the United States, tell a whole story about yourself and a whole new project as a wine club, which is absolutely new for this area. But they were very curious about our story. And I remember Giulio, Valentina's father, he gave me a bottle of 1988, which is my birth year, which right now, and Chiara's too. I'm really happy to go there and to have them on the vlog.
We are in Barbaresco, and today it's the 7th of December. So as you can see, the vineyard is super white. So we're here with Valentina from Ca del Baio. We are going to talk a little bit about her farming approach.
Hi everyone. Yeah, we are here. Finally the snow has arrived, which is very important because it makes Christmas atmosphere first. And second, because cold and snow are two fundamental elements for the vine health. Yeah, the approach is very important. So with my sister we are looking for the continuous research of the balance and vitality of the plants.
You said snow is important. One thing that most people don't know about this area is that all these vineyards are dry farmed. So we cannot irrigate. And so why is it so important?
Water is not taken for granted. If you think in other area like Australia, a bit warmer, they really calculate every single liter for their use. So it's very important because it ensures the water ground reserve for the future months.
For the whole year.
For the whole year,
sometimes. Yeah. What is your approach towards sustainability?
We have to ask ourselves this question: are we landowners of this piece of land that we received from our grandparents, or are we caretakers? I think we are caretakers. We can't talk about wine and food if we don't talk about land first. Yeah. All our vineyards are certified green experience. That is certification was born in Piedmont, dedicated to Piedmontese wines. And yeah, the most important rules of this certification is, of course, no use of chemical weeding, use of only sulfur and copper for the treatments during summertime. And then there is also this practice of sowing herbaceous essence that in springtime we buried in the soil, so that is a natural fertilizer. And then there is nice things is the placement of some nests. Okay. Actually, there are in the green experience you have to put in 1 hectare 12 nests for the different kind of birds, because there is il passerotto, it's the diurn insect, and then there are other animals, other birds like that eat especially the insect during night. We have a lot of little worms in spring that they climb on the vines and they eat the buds.
The noctue.
Yeah. And there are these birds with a long beak that are specialized to eat this kind of larvae. So It's a nice.
Because I thought most winemakers and they would go out at night and hunt for the noctue.
Yeah, also the humans go.
So basically these worms, they go up and they eat the sprout, right? The shoots. Yeah, the very first green leaf. They love it. Yeah. And that destroys the whole crop.
And in one night they can make big damages. For example, one thing that also I like to say is that more and more every year we plant trees around our estate.
Very important.
We have a forest down there that we really, me and my sister really are striving to protect, because the forest is really a treasure.
A lot of people are asking, why do you plant roses by the vineyards?
Yeah, actually this is old tradition, because in our past, our grandparents didn't have a weather forecast, so they didn't know if it was going to rain or whatever. So they used to plant roses because they get the powdery mildew, that is a famous illness in the viticulture, before the vines.
If the rose is sane, it means that the vineyard is going to
they're like a scent. Take us through maybe the winery tour, the tasting room, and what people are going to be seeing here whenever they come visit.
Of course.
You do want to taste Ca del Baio wines, so make sure you book them.
Our main production is about Nebbiolo and Barbaresco, around 60%. And the remaining part concern the other two red berry grapes, Dolcetto and Barbera, and Chardonnay, Riesling and Moscato.
Beautiful.
Andiamo a vedere la cantina d'ombrello. This is our umbrella room, and this is where we stock our current and older vintages of Barbaresco, and where we make our library of old vintages.
What is the oldest bottle from your winery that you drank?
89, my vintage.
89.
It's a great vintage.
It's a very good vintage. Considered one of the best vintages after the Second World War. Here we are in the bottle room. Here is where we stock the bottle before the labeling. Here we have our bottling machine. This is the old bottling machine of Nonno Ernesto. Ernesto, yeah.
Once the grapes get here, how do you treat them? What's your winemaking approach?
The grapes arrived here, and then we make the selection of the best grapes, and we do, we remove the berries and the bunches that are not good. There is a crushing and the stemming machine. So through pumps, very delicate pumps, we put these berries in the tank, and over there it started the fermentation with ambient yeast from Pied de Couve that is prepared few days. Natural yeast. And then our work is to follow if all the process goes well, but we don't have to, to change something. We have to let it go naturally, and then when the alcoholic fermentation is done, is finished, we taste and we see if we can do some more extraction and maturation, and then when we taste and say, okay, it's time to separate the skin, we do the drawing off, and the skin goes in the press, and the first and the wine goes in another tank. The history goes on, and then there is the malolactic fermentation. Secondary fermentation has to happen. If it happens immediately, we are very happy. If it doesn't happen, it will happen in spring. So when the maceration, alcoholic fermentation, malolactic fermentation is done, we fill these barrels that are large barrel Slavonian oak, Austrian oak, and here it started the aging of the vine, and this is where the wine gets more body, more structure, and in 2 years the Nebbiolo, we can call it Barbaresco because for law is not yet Barbaresco because it has to pass a lot of exam. And in 2 years, the wine makes his natural decantation and feel the cold of the winter, so the acids that are not stable fall down and create, the tartrati. And once a year, we remove these tartrati with racking. In 2 years, when it's time to put in bottle, we goes in bottle without filtration, without fining, because, 2 years passed and it's not necessary. The wine became stable naturally.
Your wines, especially your Barbarescos, are among my favorites. And whenever I come here and whenever I hear you or your sisters or your dad talk about wine, I always feel this patience. Even during the busiest time of the year, this room is quiet. So I think it's, there's always a secret behind making amazing wines, and what I feel in this room is always this approach that is very calm and very, very patient.
Actually, we have also some white wine barrels. So this one in the center is a Chardonnay 2020. That is a little part of our production, and it's made with a French idea. It's made with inspiration to Burgundy.
We should tell them the story about your barrel fermented Fermine and your dad and
the wine of the discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the wine of the discussion?
Yeah, because I want to try this little experiment after my experience in Burgundy. So I saw over there they were working Chardonnay in a different way than my father, and so I want, I push him to try this little experiment, and he was not happy, probably because he didn't trust me a lot, and so I am pretty stubborn, so I did it.
I remember I was here with clients, and you gave me a blind glass saying, give me your opinion, tell me what you think. And I said, well, this is really good, it tastes very Burgundian, what is it? And you said, well, it's a new project I want to do, but my dad doesn't want me to finish it. And then eventually you convinced him.
Yeah, actually you leave a little bit this experiment, because I remember that you came up here in the winery the day after we put in bottle this Chardonnay with no filtration. And I remember that I was showing you a bottle and say, look, this is the Chardonnay unfiltered.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember?
Yeah. When you are in a multi-generational business, especially in a traditional area like this one, there's always change, but change is hard because in this case, Giulio is used to doing things his own way, and maybe anytime Valentina or Paola or Federica want to change things, there's always this battle, but it's it's a friendly battle. It's not you have a beautiful relationship.
Sì,
but it's cool to witness. Okay, we're here during pruning time. Vale, can you tell us a little bit, ask your father maybe, about pruning and how it works?
Sì. Papà, puoi spiegare cosa stai facendo come poti?
Diciamo che quest'anno abbiamo iniziato la potatura, è arrivata la neve, non ci rimane che i lavori manuali sicuramente. Questo è un lavoro lungo, dobbiamo partire per tempo a farlo, quindi richiede qualche mese. E in questo momento stiamo potando un vitigno che è il Barbera.
These are the 1 year old branch, and what he's doing is he choose this branch that in springtime it was a shoot, and then it grows, it makes the grapes, and then in August it lignifies. So now my father chose this branch that is going to be bended it and wire tired, and these are the buds for the next year production.
Okay.
Your turn.
Yeah, okay.
Voilà, in questo caso taglierei qui, prenderei questo qua. Esatto, brava, perfetto. Una buona mano. Tagliare
Qua così?
Sì.
Ok. Wow.
Perfetto, rimane che pulire il tralcio, quindi
devo togliere questo girando.
purtroppo sono forbici un po' che hanno il taglio da cambiare. Comunque, ok, allora quello verrà tagliato anche qui, questo.
Tagliare qua.
Sì. Ok, lasceremo questo pulendolo. Ok, sarà poi il
Quello lì è quello per
del prossimo anno.
Thank you, Valentina and Ca del Baio, for having us. Guys, make sure you come visit them next time you book your Langhe experience.
Grazie a voi. Come to visit us.
Alla prossima.
Catch you in the next one. Ciao ciao.
I'm very happy about Oneonthehill's project because of our friendship, about our collaboration, and because they are spreading the word Piedmont and Langhe around the world. Please make sure to follow them on their YouTube channel and to put like.